What is going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Obeidi here. I hope you're all enjoying your day today. Let's go ahead and just dive right into our daily cryptocurrency content and analytics for today. We're going to be talking about price predictions for Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, and Litecoin, as well as taking some user requests and covering some headlines today, being the fact that you can see with Bitcoin, we are heading into this demand and accumulation zone with the RSI showing completely oversold levels here on the daily chart. What we're seeing right now with Bitcoin, once again, is something we've seen in the past, and that's when Bitcoin is in this descending pattern here, hitting these oversold levels. We typically see a reversal at this point, at least to these higher RSI levels over time, and we're entering this zone in which we are going to be expecting a swing back sometime soon. It could be a bull trap, but the point is there's still going to be money to be made in this market, and we know that this is an accumulation zone. You can see here we found some extensive support along this area between the 6,300 and the 5,800 level, all the way down to around 54. So looking at Bitcoin's chart, in my opinion, at this point, we are going to go ahead and see further lows, probably headed towards those low 6,000 levels. Whether or not we see a bull trap or a bull trap now or later, it's all going to be determining upon what type of volume we see over time. You can see right now we're seeing some negative volume. If we were to go to the 4-hour chart, the volume here is showing a lot of selling volume here, and with this MACD here, we're still on our way under this slow length, so this fast length hasn't yet crossed over with this fast length in the MACD. So looking at Bitcoin's technical analysis, go ahead and just dive right into our first headline here. It's actually a Reddit article that was trending today here. You can see here, it says, people are in panic. I'm going all in. Never been more confident in the crypto market. I wanted to ask the live audience, as well as those of you watching this after the live show, what you think about this. You see it says, this year has been called a bloodbath. Even for it to take 2 years for the market to return and go on a bull run, that is nothing compared to the reward you'll receive from accumulating during this downtime. Keep buying. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys positively looking at this market in this manner, or are you guys worried in this market? I just like to get your opinion. But in my opinion, we are in the best time ever to start looking at the projects that we're looking to invest in long term. Understand that this market saw an exuberant amount of growth in 2017, especially in the latter part in early 2018, where we really started to see the market start to crash. And in my opinion, you want to start looking at projects that you can trust and look at for the long term. So looking at the different coins here, most of these coins are over 20% down over the past 7 days. You can see here some coins 30% down here, specifically Tron here after mainnet launch, and then EOS here 27%. Both of those after mainnet launch over 30% down. Pretty interesting to see that. And looking at Internxt, I know we talked about this last video, and I wanted to touch more on this because they are sponsoring this video. And once again, understand that you have to start utilizing decentralized applications, and I want to talk a little bit more about their applications and the platforms and what they offer. You can see here, number one, xCloud here is a distributed and decentralized way for you to store your files. You can actually go down onto their website here and subscribe to their email list here to download their beta. And what's really cool about it is you can see here the majority of the problems that we're facing right now is censorship and data going to governmental agencies and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we want to protect our data, and one way to do that is to decentralize it, and that's really what this is aiming to do. And then you can also see here, Xcore is an interesting technology that they've also built here, and this allows you to actually earn passive income. You can see here, it's almost like how uTorrent used to work with people seeding files. Have any of you guys ever used uTorrent? Say yes or no in the chat. But if you have, you know that you're able to seed files, which is basically utilizing your network to establish a connection. And you can see they're doing something very similar, and they're actually paying out in INXT tokens. And then not only that, with their INXT token here, it's actually taking all of the revenue that's generated from the services that they are providing and converting it into their own native token to allow the platform to be supported in a financial sense, which is really cool because remember, we're looking for intrinsic value with these coins, and Internxt definitely has intrinsic value. So I'm looking at this as a long-term project as well, and it's definitely a project I'm excited about. And as it's built on the ERC20 platform, where we know that ERC20 is built for decentralization, so it's the perfect platform to build an application like this. So their website is in the description below. Highly recommend checking them out. And then our next headline here, from Reddit. Once again, I was on Reddit today. I had awesome articles to go through, but Reddit was just on fire. I mean, we had so many different trending upvoted posts and stuff. And this was one that interested me. It says here, Overstock saying, we pay fee for credit cards and we employ 40 people in fraud departments. When we take cryptocurrency, we have a very small transaction fee, much smaller than the credit card fee, and no fraud department. It's like a cash transaction. For us, that is much cheaper and way better, basically, is what it says here at the end. And I'm excited to see stuff like this because understand, this technology is the next level. I had a phone call today and I was on the phone with a jeweler in New York, and he was asking me how to start accepting cryptocurrencies for his jewelry shop. And I was explaining to him how BitPay works and how there's instant liquidation and how he doesn't have to worry about holding any cryptocurrencies if he doesn't want to. And he was excited to utilize this new technology. And I think more business owners are going to be excited in that manner. And we're going to see mass adoption come over time as more business owners and large corporations, especially the big four, Apple, Facebook, Google, and what's the last one? Facebook. Those are the big four, and we need those companies to adopt cryptocurrencies. So next article here, Bitcoin's price was pushed up using Tether manipulation. So we're seeing this drama again. If you guys don't remember, Tether had this huge controversial allegation in which people were saying that the USDT coin was actually bringing Bitcoin's price up and it was all artificial, and that obviously wouldn't be healthy for this market. And now researchers are saying that they're looking deeper into it and they're seeing evidence of that. And I'm not saying that this is true or spreading FUD, but at the end of the day, we want to be aware of these type of situations. You can see here, it says Tether seems to be used both to stabilize and manipulate Bitcoin prices. It indicates it's a conscious strategy to provide price support. So interesting. I wonder what you all think about this. I definitely know this. Binance and a lot of these other exchanges like Bittrex are starting to accept or starting to utilize USD pairings and fiat pairings with these altcoins. And I think it is in a move to start being less dependent upon the USDT coin. And I think that's definitely a good thing for this market. And this is what I mean. The more maturation we see, the more we're going to start to see more confidence and then institutional money coming into this market. Right now, yes, we see some sell-off, but it's only temporary, and we'll definitely start to see some prices and some green sometime soon. So let's see what our live audience has to say. Any questions for today? We're going to be doing some more technical analysis here. Let's do ETH BTC here, just to kick off our technical analysis run right now. Let's go ahead and do a Bittrex chart here. Looking at Ethereum, you can see we saw a little bit of a bounce back in regards to its Satoshi volume. You can see we started to enter this accumulation zone as indicated here by this price range coming from right around that 7.3 million Satoshi range all the way down to that 7.2 million Satoshi range is really where that accumulation zone is at this point. And in my opinion, it's showing more strength in the overall market, knowing the fact that we're starting to see these exaggerated pullbacks within some of these coins. So it's exciting to wait, but at the end of the day, what we're going to want to watch is Bitcoin. Even with Ethereum's price, if we were to go to the ETH USD chart, I guarantee you it's going to be a little bit different here. You can see with ETH USD, it's different in the fact that we're not seeing any green here. It's continuing to drop down. And remember, we have these two zones drawn out right now in regards to where we're expecting prices to see some sort of a reversal. Whether or not it's a bull trap or not, there's still money to be made, and that's going to be between that $420 to $445 mark. And then really the Black Friday prices, the really good deals are really going to be anywhere between $290 up to around $360 in my opinion, because I can definitely see us at least swinging back to around 700 to around 800 before seeing any further lows. Whether or not we're going to be going down to 5,000, whether or not we're going to be going down to 4,000, I know we're seeing a ton of FUD. At the end of the day, I don't expect that to happen, but if it does, even if so, I expect some sort of a bull trap soon, which means we're going to see some green prices. And if you guys have been quite frustrated with this market, this is going to be an opportunity to take advantage of these swings to take some profits and go ahead and accumulate some more profits or break even, if not accumulate lost funds. So hopefully that has helped here with the Ethereum technical analysis. So go ahead and move on to EOS BTC. EOS is doing something very unique here, knowing that the mainnet just launched here. We're not necessarily seeing much price action. We're pretty much consolidating right here between the 0.38 and the 0.50 on this Fibonacci, right around that 150,000 to 160,000 Satoshi range. What I'm watching for right now with EOS, knowing that this is actually a pretty known support level, I wouldn't be too worried about EOS as long as it doesn't breach that 0.38, because at the end of the day, we're very bullish on this project long term, and I can definitely expect some all-time highs as we start to see this market start to become more healthy and really recover from the losses that we've seen over the past few weeks. So that's what I'm predicting for EOS. I don't expect any further lows. Once again, you want to watch the majority of the market. We saw this huge buy volume come in yesterday, which was interesting to see with EOS, but once again, the MACD is still heading down, and like I said, the best possible price range, in my opinion, to purchase your EOS right now would pretty much be right here between the 14,000 Satoshi mark all the way up to around 15.4 thousand Satoshi. So hopefully that helps out. And let's see if we have any user requests here. SXC Fitness says, Naeem, where will be a great support level? I would say right now with Bitcoin that 5,900, 6,000 is a great support level, especially for any sort of possible swing that we're expecting here to go over 7,000 for Bitcoin. Camel World says, Naeem, you mentioned yesterday to liquidate into one asset class, BTC. Do we even do this at a loss, even for alts traded in late December? I've been hodling for a while at a loss. Thank you. Well, understand this, Camel. If you were to liquidate into Bitcoin, you're not necessarily selling just yet, because all you're really doing is putting your money into the asset class that really controls the market, right? So it's almost like putting your money into a hedge fund or an index, right? Or especially if you do it with Ethereum, because Ethereum has all of those ERC20 platforms backing it. So when you're consolidating to one asset class, what you're really doing is gaining more control over your funds and not necessarily betting on individual projects, but more so trying to preserve your capital, right? Because sometimes you have to get into defense and you have to get into capital preservation mode. And in that case, I think consolidating your portfolio into one asset class is the best decision. And that's actually a strategy called consolidation management. So hopefully that has helped. Dylan says, Discord is a savior. Yes, if you guys don't know, we have our Discord resource available for all of you guys. The link is in the description below. It's a free resource, 24/7 community that you guys can access. And if you want a premium membership into our Discord, you can see we also give out market updates daily, long-term signals, trend signals, and that can also be found under patreon.com/snipers, which will take you to a page like this where you actually can go in and become one of our Patreon gold members and access all of our airdrop alerts, fundamental analysis, trend signals, and things of that nature. So definitely check that out. And now that we've completed all of our technical analysis, I think we're pretty much done here. Do we have any further questions? I'm excited for this market, but of course we have to go through the hard times to get to my opinion right now of this market. You know, knowing the headlines today were quite average, knowing that price levels have not really moved so much in the past 48 hours, I'm just waiting for this market to really start to see the confidence with these institutions, because when these institutions are going to get into this market, we're going to see it. We're going to see big volume come in. It's not going to be a surprise. And I think that's when we're going to start to see a lot of the worries flush away and truly see this market at its highest level. So it's really going in conjunction with the majority of the market, where I'm not expecting too much further lows, maybe a couple more percent before we start to see some green in the market, just because everything is just oversold right now. And we all know that. And at the end of the day, you can spread as much FUD as you want, but this market is more bullish than ever. We're seeing more confidence in this market, with a lot more advancement in technology, as well as institutions starting to become more interested in this market, more hedge funds coming about, and things of that nature. So, it's just, you just gotta go through the bad times, like I said, to get to good. Brett says, stay the course, keep the faith. Yes, baby. I love it. Tony says, 300 likes and give away $100 of ETH. Deal. If we get 300 likes, we'll give away ETH. But even if we don't give away ETH, if you guys appreciate these live streams, come on, hit that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And Leah Sel Mitchell says, hi, Naeem. When BTC is around 6K, we can re-enter the alts. I would say at this point, you don't want to get too diversified. I mean, it's hard to control 25 asset classes, let alone 5, right? So I would say try to stick to 1 to 5 to maybe 10 different coins. If you're really, really ambitious, you can do 10. But for me personally, if you want the safest way to recoup your losses right now, I would say for your swing trading portfolio, you should definitely consolidate into one asset class. Now, if it's a long-term hold, you definitely can start buying in. That's why I was talking about the Internxt coin right here, right? We're talking about Internxt here. It's an awesome application. It has great use case, and in my opinion, it has an intrinsic value. So if you want coins in a project like that, or a project like Zilliqa, which we've talked about in the past, or EOS, I think now is definitely the time that you can start dollar cost averaging, as we start to expect a little bit of lower lows, but for the most part, some sort of reversal sometime soon, right? Because I'm looking more long-term, not short-term. But here's what I do want to caution you with. There is a high probability that we could see further lows beyond 5,000, right? Now, if that does occur, I don't see that just happening out of nowhere from where we're at now, but I would say that yes, you can most likely play this next swing, but definitely keep in mind that you want to start taking profits as soon as possible in this market. And that's just the truth, because that's what people are thinking and that's what people are going to do, and you don't want to be caught on the other end of that. So hopefully this live stream has helped. I think we went over some really good info in my opinion. Eric says Bill Gates came out and then the message was deleted. Dennis says, do you still think LTC is good long-term? I like Litecoin. I think it has a lot of distribution. It has a lot of use case, and it has quite a bit of volume in proportion to some of the other coins around those higher ranks, So Tony says, can you talk more about projects that are less than a penny, like BABB? If we saw any. SXC says, ETC listing on Coinbase. Well, that was almost like an ethical decision, I think, because Ethereum Classic is the original blockchain of Ethereum, if you guys don't know. And Ethereum was the other. Bob says, you take profit when you're in profit. We are far from that now. The Element says, what happened to the glasses? No glasses right now. EOS airdrops. Steven Pitcher says. Nick says, can you take a look at Verge? Let's take a look at Verge real quick. XVG, BTC. Let's see if we have any opportunity here with Verge. Anything significant. Okay, so we're starting to see a little bit of some green candlesticks. But here's what I'll tell you right now with Verge. Understanding the fact that these are known lows, I can definitely see over the long term this happening with Verge here. I can definitely see this rounding itself like that into a cup formation, the same way we saw it happen initially, right? Because understand, a lot of the reason of why we're going down right now is we're seeing people short this market, right? And the way shorting works is you short the market until you can't short it anymore, right? So it's like everyone is expecting higher prices and the shorters just want to keep bringing it down and down and down. But it gets to a point where you bring it down to its ground and now you play the same exact game up, right? Now, instead of shorting it, you just go long, you go long, you go long, you go long, you go long. So that's how you start to see these type of formations, right? Tons of people made tons of money in this formation. If you were to short throughout this whole period of time and then go long throughout this whole period of time, you could make so much. And that's what people are doing. And it's not necessarily the best thing in the world, but it's something you have to be aware of, knowing that you're in this market and there are a lot of different ways to manipulate the market or have some sort of slight advantage. So let's see here. Brett says, do you think BNB will do well in a bull market? It's a good hedge against BTC in this bear market. Not sure about a bull market. Absolutely. I think the BNB coin is a great coin in general. Obi says, do you use and or trust Tether? I don't have any of my holdings in Tether. I will only use it if it's an in-between transaction is what I call it. But we're not going to have to worry about that soon, to be honest, when we start to see USD pairing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. And I think we covered the majority of it. Until our next one, you guys are all awesome. I love you all. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Like this video, and hopefully this added some sort of value to you guys. Without you all, we couldn't have these daily live shows. So thank you all so much. Spread the word. Snipers Tube to the moon. Snipers Tube out.